I've been absent for 4 days. I'm really sorry. I went and drank this weekend, so had a bit of a rough weekend, but your boy is back. In today's video, it is well, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a beautiful Monday afternoon. However, in this video, we'll be talking and breaking down all of my injuries that I have been through and went through in my life, growing up from a little kid to pretty much a grown up, and pretty much giving a full detail on my worst injury of all time. And it's actually quite a surprising injury. You won't believe it. But this is my worst injury, and I'll tell you why just now. Growing up as a kid, I have done a lot of dumb shit. I'll be very honest, I wasn't a saint by any means necessary, and yeah, I used to do the dumb stuff. One of many things that I used to do as a kid, and I look back at it now, why did I do it? God knows why. Maybe the adrenaline rush or just the joy that I got out of it. But in the old house, we had a staircase, and it was quite a high staircase, and I would often just jump out of nowhere from the staircase onto the floor, and it went good in the beginning, and I thought, you know what, I'm really enjoying jumping off this staircase, let's go up it up this one time. And my mom kept on telling me, stop jumping off the staircase, you're gonna hurt yourself. And obviously I think, man, how old was I? I think it was about 6, 7, and I said, nah, whatever. And this one time I decided to go extreme and go even further. I went on the highest point of the staircase, I jumped, and I broke my leg. Bro, I swear to God, I jumped and my leg went just like that, and I was like, oh, I think I just broke my leg. It was excruciating pain. The pain was, yeah, it hurt, but it was like, okay, it's broken. But also one of the things that I did as a kid, which I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it's a scar actually on my wrist. Yeah, it's very difficult to see, but yeah, you can see right there, right? That is the dumbest injury I've ever gone through. And this was at the age of 4. I think this was one of my first injuries ever. So what happened was, it was a nice, beautiful, sunny afternoon. It was summertime. I was 4 years old, so this was like 17 years ago, which is crazy. My brother was 14 at the time. God damn, he was 14, 15 at the time. That's crazy. I just remembered how young he was. Well, the story was pretty much, they were going to go to the beach. And well, I wanted to come with them. But I wasn't allowed to, right? Because they were going to go drink, they were going to go smoke, and, you know, there were chicks on the beach. So I got really pissed off, and I just went with my fist through the window. Yes, I swear to God, I got so pissed off. I was throwing a tantrum, sitting at the front door by the entrance, and I just went, bop. And my hand was starting to bleed like a motherfucker. Like, the blood was dripping and everywhere coming out. And the funny thing is, I don't remember much of that day. What I do remember is we went to the ER afterwards, like immediately. And what really hurt the most wasn't even the fact I had, you know, glass shards in my wrist or in my hand. That didn't hurt the most. It was the fact I had to get stitched up. And I don't know how to describe it, but it's like wire. You ever had wire through your legs or shit like that? Yeah, that really, really hurt the most. And that's how I got that scar. It's a reminder of pretty much doing dumb stuff at an early age. Now, did I potentially get these stupid, weird things from my dad back as a kid? Probably, because my dad did these kind of similar things. Yeah, my dad did similar things. Actually, matter of fact, my dad did some worse stuff. I can get into that just now. One of his worst injuries ever. He's got like a big scar on his thigh. Let me get into that right now. So what he told me is, as a kid, he used to steal, right? But like in South Africa, it's, you know, it doesn't matter where you're from. Like, stealing and trying is kind of a normal thing, right? It don't matter where you come from, he told me. And he said he had a farmer. He used to produce his own local honey, right? But he had barbed wire. So my dad thought this one time, fuck around and get some honey. And I think he slipped and his leg got caught on the wired fencing, and it took a whole chunk out of his leg. Yeah, I mean, that's painful. That sounds painful. But anyways, besides that, that's one of my first injuries ever. The stitching did more pain, and essentially than the actual hitting the glass, because it wasn't double glass. I mean, if it had been double glass, there was no way I was going to go through that, but pretty good punch. And then, I think if I remember correctly, the second time, I don't think my brother had a car or a license at this moment. No, I don't think he did, because I was only 6 years or 5 years at the time. So yeah, when I was 4 years old, my fist through the window, and I think a year later, year and a half, I got picked up by my brother in kindergarten, and he had this bicycle. But he had this bicycle which was so crazy. He didn't have, like, he had a chain on it, obviously, right? But he didn't have like a protection layer to avoid your leg getting stuck in the chain. So he picks me up, right? I swear to God, bro, we leave the property of the school, and like 5 seconds later, he goes on the bicycle, and my fucking leg gets stuck in the chain. I think it was, if I remember correctly, was either, well, it was one of the two. I mean, I got two legs, so it could be 50-50. But I think it was probably my left one. I remember it got stuck because I came back from the gym at school, right? We used to have these gymschoentjes, we used to call them gympjes. And you know, those cheap ones that you could buy for like $3-4 back in the days. Terrible quality, but I mean, why they were terrible? Because when you used to shoot the ball, it just fucking broke. It would break in one go. The quality was terrible, but hey, it's what you could afford back then as a kid, right? And just in general, like, we don't need expensive stuff to go to the gym and enjoy as a kid. But yeah, I had a big ass blister, but at the time we didn't know I had broken my ankle. So, you know, my brother went to a little puddle, put water on it. Like, it was swelling up crazy. So he went home, called my mom. Mom came home, obviously out of work, you know, all stressed and shit like that. And we went to the ER again. And yeah, came to find out, they did a scan. My ankle was broken. So that was about 8 to 10 weeks out. I mean, I still went to school. I mean, it's not like I stayed at home for 2-3 months. Absolutely not. I still had to go to school, obviously. But the first, I think, 2 to 4 weeks I had to stay home because I couldn't walk. I had crutches and I had a major, what's that thing? It's called gips. You know when people write stuff on, I don't know what it's called, but that's a crazy injury. Okay, so this is another thing. I don't want to say necessarily that this is an injury, but this is one of the things I went through as well. When I was about 10, 11 years old, something around that age, I had a big stomach ache. Come to find out, I had my appendix poison in it. Had to get taken out. I would want to say that's probably one of the worst injuries, to be honest with you, because it was tiring. It drained my soul, bro. I was so tired. I didn't want to do nothing anymore. I couldn't do anything. I was in hospital eventually for about a month. I was underweight and everything. I've told this story before. But the most painful injury is not breaking something. Believe it or not, you would assume and let's say, oh, you know, you break something, it hurts a lot. Yeah, the swelling up part hurts. Like, okay, you break something. All right, cool, whatever. It's just a broken bone. Depending on how you break it and what you break, right? Because, like, when I broke my leg, yeah, of course it hurt crazy, but after a few days, it was like, all right, cool, I don't feel shit. It just has to grow back. I think one of the worst injuries was, and I'm being dead ass honest, I was 14 years old. This was just about a month or 3-4 before I started my YouTube channel in 2016. My best friend at the time, Jaden, we used to have the gym 2 times in the week. And this was a small ass little gym, like really small, very compact. And we were playing dodgeball, right? Who doesn't like dodgeball? I used to love dodgeball. When it came to football and dodgeball, what would I choose at the time? Probably dodgeball, because I wasn't really that good at football at the time. But I was always very good with throwing. Anyways, the whistle goes. I got my back turned around, right? And he decides out of nowhere, you know, I turn around and he decides to throw the dodgeball. It's a soft little foam ball, right? Or like a big red foam ball. He decides to throw with a lot of power. So my natural reflex is, I gotta try and catch the ball. But by trying to catch it, my pinky, and it's exactly this pinky finger I'm talking about, went completely backwards and it bent crazy. I was like, ow. Oh shit, man. Like, oh, what the fuck? I look at my pinky, I'm like, oh god damn, it's swelling up. But I wasn't crying. It was like, oh, my pinky is swelling up. That's not a good sign. I don't think that's a good sign. So I go to my teachers. I say, listen, I just hurt my pinky, and they couldn't believe it. They was like, huh? How can you hurt your finger? At the moment, my pinky snapped back. You can't do much about it. And the worst part was, it was swelling up and it was hurting. It was a pain. So I said, listen, I think you guys need to call my dad. Got my dad called, and yeah, we went to, I think an hour later, my dad picked me up from school. I had an ice pack on it, but it wasn't doing shit. Like, it wasn't doing anything. It was just swollen up. It was all purple and red. So yeah, that's when I knew I haven't broken it. I already know it's bruised, 100%. And what sucked about this injury was the fact that a goddamn month before, I was gonna go to Thailand. We still went regardless. Went to I don't know if we went to the ER for this or just the house arts. You know, not like in hospital for this, because we knew it wasn't broken, but we still got it scanned and checked. And, you know, they said, yeah, you haven't broken it, but you have bruised it. and I needed to have it around thing for like 3 months. And what was so painful was I had a stick so that it kept on being straight. It had to be straight for weeks, and that hurt a lot because I couldn't move this part. I couldn't move this entire part of my hand. I couldn't use it, nothing. So trying to pick something up was like a handicap pretty much. And it sucked because I was on vacation and I needed that stupid fucking stick on my finger so that it keeps on getting straight. Because I don't know if you can tell the difference, but you could definitely see this finger is a little bit, I mean, they're both bent, to be honest. How they're so bent, that's actually a good question. I don't know. But yeah, my fingers aren't the straightest. But if I tell you what my dad did as a kid, and sometimes still does, he does some dumb stuff, honestly. He's a great father though, but sometimes, man, he still does questionable things, and I'm like, why would you do that? But that's probably one of my most painful injury, the bruising. 100% hurts more than breaking, because when you break something, it's broken. All right, cool, whatever. You don't really feel much. But when you bruise something, it's continuing pain, and it takes so goddamn long to heal. And that's what was so frustrating about it. And I'm glad it wasn't this hand, because I'm only a lefter. I can't write with my right hand. So I was very fortunate, and I was like, thank God for this hand being it, because I can't use this hand. The only thing this hand was good at the time was throwing a ball. Nothing else. Everything I did was with left. Actually, my scissor hand is the right one. So that was it was painful. It took about 3 months. And there I was in Thailand, still swimming. I mean, yeah, shit, of course I'm swimming. Yeah, like, it's funny, the stick that I used to keep my fingers straightened was just a popsicle stick. A classic popsicle stick, you know. Put one here, put one here, put one on the top, put some special stuff around it, and bam. Just make sure you keep it straight. You don't bend it too much. Bend it like Beckham, as I could say. But those are my worst injuries. Yeah, I've also had another injury. That hurt. That was a stupid morning. I was always very excited, you know, waking up as a kid since then. There's one time I just went too extreme, and I decided to kick the wall. Honestly, I don't know why. I decided to kick the wall. That hurt because that was blood coming under my toenail. Like, that hurt, like it was bleeding under my toenail. And that was also bruised for a few weeks, which meant that I also had a fucking thing around my toe and had to go to school with a slipper on. Dude, honestly, I've done so many dumb things. I've done some other things, but I don't really remember the rest. They're not as excruciating as these. So that's pretty much it. These are my worst injuries of all time. The pinky one, without a doubt. That is the most painful one because it was simply bruised for 3 months. And it took a while to heal. So that was pretty much it. Thank you for watching.